his name again? Right Monster had an afro. Do you remember those? Do you remember those times?
And I was like, these boys are so cute.
All right, man, got an afro though. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Korea Unfiltered. Today's episode is one of those episodes that I record and then something wrong happens, so I have to have the guest come back. So today's guest is Mimi.
Hello.
Girl, thank you so much for coming back.
Of course, anytime.
I went to edit and the sound was like, girl, nah. I was like, nah, you're not loading this. I think that's the biggest problem with having a podcast because the audio is not in the camera. As you guys you probably can't tell, but the audio is not connected to the camera. I have to separately edit everything, right? So if the audio is gone, I'm chopped. I'm just like, no, we gotta do it again. So thank you for coming.
You're back.
She's back. She's back and she's better. She looks mature. She looks grown. Yes,
grew.
girl. she look grown. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Mimi. I'm from USA. I am 27. Yeah. Okay.
27 gang.
Okay. And I'm teaching and modeling here.
Wait, tell them your real name. I like your real name.
Oh, yeah. My real name is Miani. Yes.
Miani is such a pretty name. I think also
Polynesian.
because my cat's name is Mia.
Oh.
I really like the name Mia.
Oh, yeah.
And you were
that's
like,
nice.
oh, my name is Miani, but you can call me Mimi. I was like, nah, girl, Miani's prettier though. Why did you shorten your name? What made you?
So I was adopted, actually.
Oh,
And
wow.
My adopted mom, she gave me the name Mimi because I was the
wow,
roadrunner,
okay.
always running around. So it was like beep beep Mimi like that.
That's so cute. I just learned a new fact. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. Are you very close with your family or not really?
My birth family or my
See, now
adopted?
this is where it gets political because
Yeah.
whichever you're comfortable saying or talking about.
Yeah, with my adopted family, definitely.
You're close?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we
And
talk
wait, you
every
said
day.
you were from what parts of the country?
Michigan, up north.
She's a Michigan girl.
North.
And I'm from the east. I'm a Pennsylvania girlie here.
with no clothes out here.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this studio is a little bit on the colder side. That's why I usually tend to have a sweater on or something.
Oh,
And then
man.
Mimi walked in and I was like, girl, you're going to be cold.
Refreshing us.
Listen.
6 months of winters. That's where I'm from. So this.
6 months of winter sounds like death.
Oh yeah.
Girl, I was born under the sun. I'm trying to be in the sun. I'm constantly,
goddesses.
do you know in Korea how when it's sunny outside, all the Koreans tend to be under the shade?
Oh yeah. And they're on their little parasols.
Oh,
and
the UV umbrellas?
Oh. Girl, who told them?
They're like
gonna
UV
die.
umbrella. They have gloves covering everything. They're like, no darkness is happening here. And I'm literally the one who's usually, when they're standing, I'm usually the one who's in the sun like, oh my God,
I know.
this feels so good.
And you see the smiles from us.
Yes,
And
we
that
love
is
the
it.
sun. And everybody's like, we don't get to
Right.
They hate the sun out here.
Yeah, sometimes I joke, I'm like, for their motivation. But I'm just like, I'm basking.
Right? I
Like,
love the sun. I always found that to be so funny because it's I remember there was one time I went to this Korean mall and on the roof they have the sun was covering half of the rooftop, right?
Right.
And the other part was just super sunny because I guess the sun was moving directions, right? All the Koreans were on the left side. The right side, literally me and my friend. Just they're like, oh, it feels so good to be out
just
here.
under the rays.
Just sucking in the sun. I was loving it. I was like, oh, sun, yeah, vitamin D up in here. Yes.
Seriously, here and the beaches.
Yes.
With the clothes on in the water. I'm like,
I never, I used to always be like, why do Koreans always have the long, because when they go to the beach, they usually wear, not all of them, obviously, but most of them tend to wear
majority.
long sleeves, they cover their legs. And I'm just like, how do you enjoy the beach when you're all covered up?
I'm like, who told them that the sun was the enemy?
I
Who
don't
said
know.
it? Who lied to
Just
them?
Thank you for the melanin, God. It doesn't burn. So, thank God. I have yet to burn.
Right?
Thank God. But I feel for them though, because they do be putting a whole lot of. Well, I also put sunscreen on, but they put a whole lot of sunscreen on.
They go top notch, literally layers on layers on layers.
Yes. Black folk, please put sunscreen on.
Yes. Don't
Yeah.
forget, every day.
Put your sunscreen on. So can you tell us when you first came to Korea?
Yeah, so I actually came here first when I was 16.
Oh my God, I remember this conversation.
Yes. Yes. We had that time. We were youngins.
Girl. Yes, because I came when I was 17.
Right.
That's the first time I came. And I remember talking about like, how did your parents let you out the house at 16? Can you
Right.
explain like
Yeah.
why that, like why they let you out?
Yeah, so I won this event competition for fashionista, and yeah, Korean Tourism Organization
Yeah.
was having this event to promote cultural awareness of Korea. Back then, there was a big Hallyu wave. I know there's a lot of like idols that were getting big all over.
This was when? 2013? 2012?
20, ooh,
Girl, we ancient.
yeah, 11 years. Yeah,
It's like 2012, 2013, I believe,
Yeah.
right? And you said
Yeah.
there was like a big move in Hallyu Wave. Was there in your school, or like what do you mean by
just I think just in general, like the general consensus of Korea as a whole was getting like really big. Like
Yeah.
people were recognizing it as more than like a war
Yeah.
torn country. And
Yeah.
it was like, oh, they are seeing like they have a lot to offer in terms of like their beauty and their industries,
Yeah.
and especially with entertainment.
Right,
That's when
right.
it really kicked off. I know like BTS was like. They weren't
think they were
known then,
just-
but
just
they
starting.
I remember
I think
saw
Bulletproof
them.
was like their only song.
Their
back then.
only song, and I
When
remember I saw
what's his
them
name?
again.
What's his name again? Right Monster had an afro. Do you
Oh
remember
yes.
those?
Yeah, I
Do you remember those times?
And I was like, these boys are so cute.
All right, man, I got an afro though.
I don't think he talks about that anymore, and we won't either.
They completely erased that part of their lives away. I was like, right, Mon, I remember you used to have an afro back in the day.
was something with that.
They just like we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
That
at
afro
all.
was bulletproof. That thing was getting through that.
That thing was like this.
Woo!
That's shady.
Oh boy.
Anyways, let's move on before the armies kill us.
Right.
No shade, guys. I'm just stating facts. But the program you won, and then yeah.
Yeah, so I was telling my mom there was like 10,000 applicants, so she was like, haha, there's no way she's gonna like get in.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, we'll see. And I got like the most votes for the competition. So their prize was to have a free ticket to Korea, and it was 3 days supposed to be, where they give you like these vouchers and like hotel
Yeah.
and meals, and they have like an itinerary for those whole times. So we went to like I think it was a concert, a photo shoot, a salon. My hair.
salon?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I will sit there and just watch. I'll be like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I should have, because they ruined my.
stop! You let them touch your hair, Mimi.
Because I was just like, yes, girl. I came out here like I'm out here, but
Girl. Bro, as a model, I don't even let them touch my hair.
Oh.
If my afro's out, you're not touching it.
From then on, I was like, never again. Sometimes we just had to go through it one time. As flat girlies, we gotta go through it once to be like,
You're like, never again, never again. Oh wow, okay.
They tried.
Not
They
the salon.
tried. Oh,
What was so
yeah.
special about the salon that they took you there?
It was actually in Gangnam, and it was a celebrity salon.
Ah,
And you know who we
okay.
saw going out?
Stop. Who y'all see?
Red Velvet.
Oh,
And I remember seeing them. All right,
really
and they had
remembers,
interviews, but I remember like just seeing them like, wow.
They were taking you on a K-pop tour. They're like,
much,
Red
yeah.
Velvet does her hair here. Oh, look, she's coming out.
The grandma is coming
They
out.
called her 30 minutes before. Hey, yo, can you go to the salon real quick?
Right? They were just
Pretend you're just coming out. Thank you.
and I was like,
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
But yeah, I told my mom, like, I won. And she was like, no way. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, yeah, look it. And so she, like, talked to the government and everything,
Yeah.
made sure it was, like, approved
Yeah.
and, that I would be taken care of. And, they reassured her. And she knew, like, Korea was, a good place and
On the
safe
safer
enough.
side, yeah.
Because she knew people already. And she kind of confided in them. A lot of her friends are travelers. And they were like, you better let her go.
Yeah.
You need to let
That's
her
a
go.
big opportunity.
She won't get an opportunity like this.
Yeah.
So she was like, okay,
Yeah.
call me every day.
Yeah.
Make sure, like, tell me where you are and all that kind of stuff. Because you're going to be thousands of miles away.
Literally.
I was like,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah, bye. Yeah. What was your favorite part about that, like, 3-day trip?
Oh, well, the fact that it turned into 4 weeks.
That is crazy to me that this trip was supposed to be 3 days.
Yeah.
And your parents were like, okay, 4 weeks.
Yep. I just expanded it. I had friends.
What made you expand it? Was it like you just really
Oh,
liked it, or?
Oh yeah, the second I got off that plane, at first like I had of course like a whole notion about how Korea was gonna be.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be beautiful, like the dramas. I
Yeah,
got off
K-drama, yeah.
Right. I got off the plane. I saw regular people, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is it.
We're gonna work with it.
It's just like any other place.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm also free.
Yeah, true. Your
Right?
parents are not with you.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm independent out here.
At 16.
It's
It's a lot of freedom to give a 16-year-old.
Oh yeah,
by
in
the
a
way.
whole nother country all by
Yes.
yourself. But
Yeah.
like I just felt so at home. I think because the people were so kind.
Yeah.
Like they kind of adopted me. A lot of the ajumas, just
Yeah.
like random people. Because I would be looking like mad confused.
Super lost, right? Right. Yeah.
Because we had like the maps, right? There was
Yeah,
no.
this was not no
like,
phone days.
There's no.
Well,
Kakao
there was still phones,
maps,
but let me chill out.
neighbor
But
map, right?
Yeah.
No neighbor
yeah.
maps.
Yeah.
So it's just like the. so I'm just like.
How do I get here? I remember when I used to go on the subway and I would have to look at the subway map to like figure out, because they didn't have the application back then.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had to like look at the map and be like, from here to here. Okay. And then they get off the subway, which was not that long ago. Like we sound
Right.
like we're talking about like 1990.
Right. I mean, it was only
Korea
like
has
a
developed
decade.
a lot
Yeah,
in those years.
They really did
Yeah.
develop
Yeah.
a lot of things.
The last time you were here, you were talking about like the benefits that you had as a foreigner
yeah.
back then, especially as a 16-year-old like foreigner. What are some benefits that you had?
Oh man, just like free stuff. Bountiful amounts of free things.
Girl,
like
I remember. Used to get so much free stuff.
Oh
back
my
then.
gosh, yes! Like
Girl.
for clothing, for skincare,
The
everywhere we
food.
went for food. The ajumma saw you and they're like, "Oh my god, so beautiful here! Service!" Because they wanted to also promote themselves. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But also, like, yeah, we were kind of wow.
Yeah. Like back then,
Yeah.
seeing a foreigner was like, I feel like it was it's two sides of a coin, right? Either they really liked you,
Yeah.
or they didn't even want to like look at you.
Yeah.
But I do have to say the older generation back then seemed to like really like me when like 2014.
Oh yeah.
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 Because I do remember, like you were saying, I used to get a lot of free things.
Oh yeah. It was-
Girl.
like I would just bring extra bags because I already knew. I was like, put it in the bag.
Like, I'm a big foodie, and I just remember getting so much free food. Like they'll constantly be like, "Have you tried this?" And I'll be like, "No," and they'll be like, "Here you go."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Especially like when you hype them up too. You'd be like,
Mosquito.
"Wow, 너무 맛있어." They'll be like, "Oh my gosh, what 맛있어?"
They're usually like, "Oh, it might be spicy for you," and then you're like, "It's not spicy," and they're like, "Please."
Oh my god, right? And you're just like eating it up because like back then, like I was a big runner. I was
Yeah.
into sports, so
Yeah.
I was always hungry.
Ugh.
So they loved
The
that.
metabolism
They were
was
so-
high, huh?
It was so high.
Oh my gosh, she eats so much.
Right, and I was walking everywhere. I remember that.
Yes.
I remember just like my feet hurting so much going on because I was like, I know I'm a runner, I do sports, but I ain't never
A lot
walked
of
this
walking.
much.
A lot, and it's like also walking on pavement too.
Yeah,
It's not like just like cross country
elevated,
running, yeah, or like a
like-
track and field thing.
right.
But
Hills and stairs. And
exactly.
they can be fit.
Yes, I think that's why I never really like gain a lot of weight in Korea, is because like I'm constantly walking to places.
Right.
Like
Right.
if you don't have a car in Korea, you're gonna have to. Well, unless you take, if you got money for taxis, I don't know, but
right.
if you're
money.
taking the subway, you're probably walking a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, which I personally like, because I know in America
Feels
I just
good.
sit in the car a lot.
Literally. And it's just like there's a lot to experience. Like sometimes you'll be walking places and you'll find like a little nice nook and that you never experienced or wouldn't have, you
Yeah.
know, if you weren't walking. And
Yeah.
it's just like your new favorite place.
Then you're like, I found my new place for sure. What do you think are some major differences now versus? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back to you staying for 4 weeks.
Oh,
first
yeah,
of all.
yes.
Let's talk about that.
see.
How did your parents react to you saying that you're gonna stay for 4 more weeks?
I don't know. They were like, "You got the funds?" Because
How did you have the funds?
So actually, my mom she made me work. She made me like I was
okay.
out there like because I couldn't like really have like a job.
Yeah.
But I remember she used to make like different kinds of greeting cards and stuff because she was like retired.
Yeah.
So she was just like, I'm not gonna give you my money. You gotta
Yeah.
work for it. I was like, okay. So she
Yeah.
made like greeting cards, like holiday cards. So I would have like a basket of like 200 cards, and I would go around to different neighborhoods, especially you know the richer neighborhoods too. You know,
So you gotta
be
hit.
like, yeah, you're my neighbor now. I would have it, and
Yeah.
I would tell them my story. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
16. I got this trip to Korea, and like, I'm selling these cards so that I can fund my trip, and I just had this whole spiel.
Yeah.
And some people, they would just give me hundreds. They would just give me money, just like,
wow.
and then they would take out just a few cards.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "This is so nice. I
Yeah.
hope you have a great time. I wish I could do this at, when I was your age, kind
Oh
of
my
thing."
god, I bet.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
That
So
is
like,
so nice of them to actually like help you out.
oh
and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, they were big on it. A lot of people. So yeah,
Dang.
I was settled.
I bet. Because 4 weeks, 16 years, and you're funding your whole trip.
Yeah,
Crazy. I didn't have that type of money at 16.
yeah. I also did some other things because like I brought a bunch of American clothes, my clothes.
Yeah.
And I was buying so many clothes, and I
Oh,
could
in
see my
Korea?
money just dwindling from all the shopping.
Bro.
So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I'm a business girl. So I went to Hongdae, had to put a blanket down.
Stop.
Do not do this. This is, oh my God.
By the way, yeah, don't.
But don't worry. It took me 3 days to
2013
get.
Korea, I know, is very, you can't
It
be
took
doing
3
this
days
stuff.
for Achama to be like,
You can't do
And I was
this.
I was like, I didn't know.
You're like, foreign card.
Yeah, I had to splay it out.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I put American clothes and I had my signs up. I had it all splayed nicely. And people came up and they just started buying stuff because I had the tags on there and everything.
Yeah.
I was set right where the busking is too. So like,
'Cause that busking area used to be hot back then. It was hot back then. I don't know if they still. I'm not sure. I haven't been to that area in a while. But back then, I do remember like people would sell stuff. I think 3-4 years ago, I did see some people also selling like cars and stuff like that.
oh yeah.
If I'm not
They
wrong.
still have some like events and like little tents where they like sell
Sell
their
stuff,
own,
right? Interesting.
with permits.
I like how you were selling the Koreans your American clothes, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you're going to fund your Korean clothes. You're like, let me go buy these Korean clothes from y'all.
That was
Take
it.
my American stuff.
Fashionista, that's what we do.
Because Korean clothes, I think back then were also still like more fashionable than like
Oh yeah.
most American brands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I just think Korean fashion was still ahead.
Yeah, they are.
Which is interesting that they were like
They
American
definitely
clothes.
did
Let me
right. I
buy
think it
these.
was the brand of something foreign that
Yeah.
they were just like, whoa.
They were hyped about. Yeah, yeah, I bet.
I was the only one out there doing like that too, so it was a
Dang,
spectacle.
I should have done that in 2014 too. We fund this trip by selling my American clothes.
Right.
So funny. Yeah, but what are some major differences that you would say from the first time you came in like around 2013, 2012 to like now in 2024?
It's really interesting, and I was just talking to my friend about this that we're teaching together, and I was like, expression.
Oh, in what way?
So when I first came here, I felt like people were like just everyday people were quite reserved in their fashion and just their way that they communicate with others. Like there was strictly like still kind of strictly no hugging that much, but
yeah, that's true.
it seems to be like people are getting closer a lot quicker and they're more comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
And able to express themselves.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I've noticed that a lot. Like these days I'm seeing a little bit more color out here. I'm seeing people like really like talking about their feelings, with each other and like trying to like bond with each other a little bit more and kind of get rid of that like hierarchy a little bit.
Yeah, I think it seems like the younger generation in Korea is trying to change a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Which I can't speak if it's like a good thing or a bad thing because I'm not Korean. But you were just saying that like the no hugging thing, right?
Yeah.
How did you get used to it?
Oh.
Because like Koreans
took me
back,
one
I don't know
time.
about now, but back then they did not hug. You try to hug them, they're like, oh boy, 이게 뭐야?
It took me one time with the opposite sex with his girlfriend there.
Oh God.
That I did
Not
not
with the
know.
girlfriend.
Not with the girl. She told me what she was because I was just like meeting a new group of people, and I was like, "Hey, everyone!" And like I could just,
They were just like,
I was coding because I was coding fast. I was just like, hugging everyone, do all the girls, and then it was him, and I was like, "Hey!"
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he just,
froze.
and then I saw her
Froze.
face. She was like,
Ma'am, get off my man. Get off of him now.
I was like, "Oh no!" And she was like, "I know that you're a foreigner, but we do not do that here. Please do not touch my boyfriend."
That's my man. Keep your hands off.
Pretty much like that. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not know."
Girl,
So-
that was like the worst way to learn that it's not a
Right.
common thing.
Oh no.
I think
Yeah.
now,
Mm.
I think when I first came to Korea, I was very used to like hugging people, and I also kind of learned the hard way in terms of dating for me.
Oh,
Like I would go
yeah.
on dates, and when you're like leaving each other, you hug, right?
Right.
They would think that's a sign of me liking them.
Yeah. He's like skinship.
Yeah, and
This
I'm
is
just
it.
I was just like, hey, yo, I hug everybody that I meet. And from like that point on, I was like, I'm not hugging people random like that. Yeah. Like now I'm starting to hug my Korean friends, but even then, sometimes we just go bye,
Right.
and we just like disperse.
And I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
And I'm actually, I like that.
right.
I like that. I
Especially
don't
after
like being
COVID,
hugged
I was
all
just
the
like,
Yes.
that's bad.
After COVID, I don't want to be touched. Like stay over there, please.
In your terms.
I remember I used to think when I would go on dates and somebody would be like, "Oh, I'm open-minded," a Korean man. "I'm open-minded," and
I
then
really
they try
thought-
to like skinship a little too fast. I'm like, "Oh, you think I'm stupid?"
Right. This is not my kind of open-minded.
Yeah,
sir.
I'm like,
back up.
first of all,
Oh.
that's not what we mean when we say open-minded. But
Hey, another side of the coin of being too comfortable too. That is another change that I've seen.
Yeah.
They are brazzing now. I don't know what happened. What kind of confidence? I think it has to be with the like K-pop and K-dramas.
yeah, it's Netflix.
They thought the guys were like, "Ooh, that's us."
They watch
That's
Netflix. They're like,
stupid.
"This is what they're doing in America." I'm trying to do that too.
And sometimes I know that they're trying to pick up with Americans because, oh my gosh, let me tell you the story of this
Yeah.
pickup.
Oh,
that I
God.
had. This
Oh,
guy, he
God.
tried.
He tried it.
Oh, of course it was in Hongdae. Of course,
Of course.
Like, oh,
We should take a sip every time we say Hongdae in this
please,
channel, bro.
right?
Every episode, Hongdae.
We drunk every day.
Hongdae always.
Oh, I'm just on my merry way with my girlfriends,
Yeah.
and we're out enjoying our night. These guys come up. This guy, he's ready. He's got his hands in his pockets. And he's like, "Hey yo," right?
Yo,
And
ma.
I was like, "Hi."
Yeah. Not hey yo.
Right? Hey yo, like literally. I was
Yeah.
like, this guy thinks he's in a music video. And that's when I really thought, because he pulled out some money, right? Some cash out of nowhere, right?
Okay.
And he was like,
Oh God.
and it was American money too. So he has a dollar.
Wait, is the man Korean or is
He's
he
Korean.
Oh God.
He's like, "Hey yo," Korean guy. He pulls out a dollar bill and he's like, "Hey yo, you know what you can get under $1? Me." And I was like, "No, you didn't. Well, you
Do you
didn't."
know what you can get under $1? Me?
So he put the dollar like this.
Oh my God, who's teaching these kids? Do you know what you can get under $1? He puts the dollar on his head.
Me. Like he practiced that or something.
He
We
was
were
in front of the mirror the day
hysterical.
before, just like, I got these bitches like that.
We laughed. We were like, "No, not today.
Wow.
Not any day."
Wow. I wonder if that's worked with any of the girls he's met.
I wonder.
I really wonder.
Because some girls, they come on here with
They get a
some
little
idea,
attention. They're like,
right? That me? You talking to me?
I can get what?
Whatever you say.
Hey, I want what's under that dollar.
They ready. Like you
That
do
is
you.
embarrassing.
I
Oh
know.
my
I can't believe he
God.
did that in front of his homies too. And they were just watching like, yeah.
Only in Hongdae will a Korean man come up to a black
Right.
woman and just be like, "Hey, yo, ma,
Hey,
what's
yo.
up?" And you're just like, "Hiya." What are some red flags that you've seen when it comes to dating?
Wow.
There's
Wow. The book. The
quite a
book
lot.
is.
We've been here for a long time, so
But yeah, just
Yeah.
general consensus of like, do you live alone?
I hate that freaking question.
Yeah, like you would never ask that because it really means like you either want to kill smash,
Yeah, they like
smash
can we
and
go
kill.
smash in
Like,
your house? Yes. If I killed you, would anybody know that you're dead?
literally, that's what it sounds like.
So it's a question. Do you live alone so I can kill you and nobody will find you?
Yeah, the open mind and kill. But nowadays, though, they know that, and they're kind of getting not crafty,
Yeah.
but they're like either rephrasing like things like so you know that kakao is like everybody uses it,
Yeah,
but a lot of them who want to keep another relationship on the DL, they'll be like line, or what's the other one?
I don't know what's up.
Like WhatsApp, right? And
Yeah.
now they'll put like, oh, there's a translation on WhatsApp, an instant translation, which is more comfortable. So I will usually use that.
Instead of Kakao Talk? Kakao Talk that every person in Korea has?
So they're finding different ways because they already know what foreigners are watching out for now.
Because now we're getting smart. We're catching up. We know what y'all trying to do to play us.
trying to evolve, but I'm like, I see through all of it,
bro. I remember back in the day when I used to be on Tinder Korea. I don't even want to say Tinder because this is Tinder Korea. That's different. When I was on Tinder Korea, my favorite was, I don't have any social media.
Please.
What brand of stupid do I look?
Right.
They're like, I'm not really ever on Kakao Talk.
Right. I'm not on.
You're not on Kakao Talk? The app that every single person in this country uses? Just say you're cheating on your girlfriend.
Right.
Just say it. Just okay.
Yeah, there's two types of guys now. They'll blatantly tell you, yeah, I have a girlfriend, but that will always be a red flag to me. Like,
I mean, thank you for the honesty, but no thank you.
Right.
I don't want it. It is like that. My biggest red flag, we had talked about this last time. My biggest red flag for Korean men is when they tell me they don't date Korean girls. Because I'm like, that's your people. That's
your mama, your sister, your grandma.
You have at least some Korean females in your bloodline. But you don't date Korean women? I'm just like, it's like us being like, I will never date a black guy.
Right. There are preferences that you can have, but like blatantly saying it outright and putting another of your own race down.
Not even another race.
Like there's some internal like
you have a problem. Yeah. And it's okay to be hurt and in pain and traumatized and whatnot, but like to just cancel your whole race.
Inflict it on everyone, like project it like that.
And I feel like most people that have come up to me with that line think it's usually I don't date Korean girls. I only date black girls. And I'm just like, that's not impressive. That's weird. That's concerning, sir.
Because there's so many types of black girls. Like,
yes. And okay, so are we canceling like white people, like Latin people, all Asian people, and we're just gonna only date black girls? Do I look stupid?
Right? Like, it's just written up here.
Idiot. Terrible. Like what is? I'm always like, what is wrong with you?
Right. So like, sometimes you gotta ask them, like, what is it? And then they just like, they're so generic or such like surface level answers about it.
They never really give you an answer that you would be like, oh, okay, maybe I can kind of see it.
Right.
It's always an answer that's just like, oh, you're fetishizing.
Right. What do they expect for us to be like, oh my gosh, like I'm the chosen one? Like,
that's literally what they expect. They expect you to think you're special. That, oh my God, you don't date Korean women? You only date, black women? I don't feel special. I feel fetishized. Yeah. So I'm always like very, when I'm like dating, especially in any other race, doesn't only have to be Koreans. When I'm dating any other race, if you tell me you don't date your race, red flag. If you tell me you only date black women, another red flag.
Right.
Because I'm like, unless you're a black man. If you're a black man and you're only dating black women, that's okay. We're okay with that. But if you're a non-black person and you're only dating black people, it's like concerning. And it's a little weird.
Yeah, that, and I'm also like, since my major is like with communications, I'm really into like people who like are culturally aware and also speak more than one language, because say
it, baby.
Say it. As someone who knows already 2 languages and is working on
say it in a clear sentence, baby. You only date people who know more than one language.
Right, yes, I know. It makes things interesting, and when you are able to think in different languages, I feel like it is more interesting. You get a lot out of that relationship, and you can understand, have different understandings of each other that you probably wouldn't
Yep.
get if it was just singular.
And also, I think there's a deeper appreciation for other cultures
Oh,
if you
yeah.
speak more than one language.
Oh yeah.
And girl, because
Yeah.
I've said this on this channel before, and I was eaten up online.
Oh, yeah?
Eaten up online.
Really?
Yeah, because I would never date a monolingual. Never.
Well, like, what?
Why?
But I think maybe a lot of monolinguals will think that. Will think the same. Like they just want to be with monolinguals and just understand each other just with one. I'm just like, I guess when you grow up in a like cultural,
Multicultural family.
yeah,
Yeah.
Whereas like, yeah, I grew up with English and Spanish together, so there's so many things in Spanish that I think about that, like, is totally different. It doesn't have any translation in English, and I can express more with that language.
Yeah.
And so I would love to have a partner who also is able to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
I just think it's like a, you don't think very surface level, because for me, I tend to think in 4 different languages right now,
Yeah.
right? Because I know 4
It just
different
pops
languages.
up. Right.
But if you only know one language, you only know how to express yourself in that one language. But if somebody from a different culture starts expressing themselves slightly different, you're going to be like, what is this? Like, why are you like this? You know, it's going to be strange to you.
Right.
That's why I personally, I would never date a monolingual person.
Right.
And I remember somebody in the comments was like, oh my God, that's so, what did she say? I think she called me shady. No, she said I was classist. Somebody born in a developing nation is classist.
It is.
But I completely feel you on that.
We get it.
I
We
felt
get it.
that.
We get
Sorry,
it.
guys. I got super excited when she started saying it.
Right, because like even there's so many different words that you can use to express. Like I know in Korean they have like 대박. That was
Yeah.
a huge thing that
Yeah.
really encompasses so many different emotions that you'd have to like get through a lot. Like awesome, amazing, cool, wow, this is so great. Well, it's all encompassed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in Spanish they have que rico, where it's like kind of the same thing of like expression where you have all of these emotions in one thing that you can't really express in English or
Yeah.
another language like that.
And
So
I think something I just thought of too, also anger comes out different in different cultures.
yes,
Being angry in, I don't know if
Yes.
this makes sense. Being angry in English is not going to be the same as me being angry in my tribal language, Kikuyu. So to someone who only speaks English, they might think I'm being over dramatic. But nah, fam, that's just how my culture is. You know what I mean? So like different emotions are going to translate different. So if you're dating someone who only knows, let's say, English, they're going to think every other expression that you're doing is a little odd because they're like, oh, I'm not used to this.
right.
I've never
They
seen
don't
this
understand
before.
the
Probably.
micro, like aggressions. They don't get like the nuances.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot that goes into language rather than just speaking. There's
Mm-hmm.
the posture, the way that you move, the way that you're like in your inflection. You know.
Do you know something else that I just thought about? I also feel like people who only speak, I'm going to use English as an example. People who only speak English have a tendency to be very privileged when they move abroad.
Yep.
They think everybody has to speak English because they speak English.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen that
Oh, yeah.
multiple times in Korea. Like, there's no care about the culture around you.
Yeah.
You just want to be seen and heard
Yeah.
in English.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever language you're speaking.
Like people who've been here for years, I know decades. They
don't know a lick
just
of
living-
Korean.
They're just living.
And I was like, oh.
like, don't you? I don't know. At some point, I think I would feel like 답답해. I would feel so just
What is top?
right. It's just,
See, this
you know,
is the
you know
problem.
this feeling of just like kind of stuffy.
Yeah,
kind
like,
of
oh,
like,
it'll be kind of like stuffy. Stuffy is not the
direct
best.
translation.
Yes, we're trying to translate. Yeah.
Well, like you would feel like, wow, I can't communicate well. I can't get exactly what I want, and I have to like translate everything. But the translation is exactly what I want. And it's like you could have spent time like maybe going to classes or like, you know, I know it's so hard for some people to like make friends, especially
in
you
Korea.
know, here it can be hard, but it's getting better to be able to like go out and, you know, really learn. I'm trying to think like if I ever in their shoes and say I went to like Germany, the first thing I would do, I would get someone who knows German and English and maybe a few other languages to go with me and to travel with me, and I would learn some German from them. And so like, okay, what are the survival phrases first of all?
Yes,
And
survival phrases are so important.
but if I was gonna live there, I would be like, okay, how can I learn as much as I can German so I can communicate? But that's also, you know, maybe not everybody's thing, but it's definitely something that I would, to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
It may not be
that
for
would
you, but it's
need-
definitely for me.
Yeah.
I need to, and like that's another thing with me. I don't travel to places that I don't know the language of because I don't want to seem like I just don't care about the culture.
Right.
It makes me anxious.
Right. I
actually.
would high anxiety.
I'm so anxious. Like I remember I went to Thailand. They speak English, but I remember there's like certain times I wouldn't understand because they had a very thick Thai accent when they
Right.
speak in English. The anxiety that was running through my veins.
Yes.
And imagine if he was actually speaking to me in Thai. I would just be there like panic attack.
Right.
Like
'Cause
thank
maybe
God it was in
something
English.
important that they
Yeah,
wanna
thank God it's in
say.
English. I can like just be like,
Right.
can you slow down when you're saying it so I can try to like decode it. But if it was in Thai, I would have just been like, I think I would have disappeared, just poof,
Right,
like
so-
just gone because I was shook. So for people who just like live in other countries and they don't know that country's language, it's really interesting. I really wonder why they just don't care to learn.
I wonder.
I
I
wonder.
really do wonder
Right?
about it. I guess there are enough places here that you can get away with it and not have to really communicate with anybody else. But then, what is the point of being here then? You know,
Right,
Like,
because you're not getting the
what
full
is
culture
different?
immersion.
yeah, maybe they don't want it. Maybe they're just here and just living and just doing business or something. It's just
Like if you have
interesting.
like if you're like a diplomat and you have a personal secretary, I understand why you wouldn't learn Korean because you don't need it because your personal secretary probably is doing everything for you.
right.
But if you're like the normal Joe Schmo, why haven't you learned at least a little bit of Korean? Anyways, maybe somebody can answer that question under the comments somewhere. Tell us why you didn't learn because that's very interesting. Let's go back to your trip. Let's go back to you coming to Korea. So you stayed here for 4 weeks. What was the most like memorable thing that happened in those like 4 weeks?
Whew, okay, so wow, there were quite a few. I think the most memorable is when I was supposed to stay for 2 of those weeks with a friend of a friend's. But she worked for the government, so she was never home. And when I got to her place,
Yeah.
it was like just an empty room that I was supposed to stay in. No
Oh, so it was like a
bed.
spare room?
Yeah, just in her spare room. Like she had like a flat and everything, but she was like, you can't. There was a couch, but she was like, you can't touch the sofa. You can't sleep on the sofa, and you can just sleep on the floor here. And she had just no cares, no food in their fridge, because she always ate out, and she would just be gone. Right?
Do you know what was the reason that she wouldn't let you just sleep on the sofa? Because the sofa has cushions. It's more comfortable.
I don't know. I didn't ask. I was a little bit afraid of her.
Oh, I bet. Because she was like a grown woman, right? She was
Yeah,
grown,
oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I'd be scared too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just walked up in there. I was like, yeah, I felt like she was just like doing a favor for the friend. So I was
yeah.
kind of just like,
You can't really
Yeah.
say anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's so odd, though.
yeah.
That's so odd. But how did you get out of that situation?
Oh my gosh, it was so I went there the first day and I slept on that floor and I was like, I can't do this. I can't
Your
sleep
body's
on
not
this.
meant to be
It's
on the
not
floor.
meant for this floor, not at all.
Yeah.
So I remember I went out the next day
Mm-hmm.
and just like exploring around. I'm like, this is where I gotta be, I guess, for the next 2 weeks. And I remember I went back to go in and my phone died before I got in. So
Oh, God.
on the phone,
Yeah.
it had her passcode on it.
Oh,
so I couldn't call her. I couldn't get the passcode, so I couldn't get it back in.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh no, what do I do? And
Yeah.
then a few minutes later, this guy comes up,
Mm-hmm.
and I just hear this voice. He's just like, oh, hello. Oh, I was like, hello.
Hi.
And
Yeah.
he was like, oh, you're traveling here? And I was like, yeah. And then I just like broke down and told him everything. I was like, oh my God, like I'm locked out and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. And he just was like, oh, well, you know, I'm a good guy. Don't worry. Like, I'm not some weirdo.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, we also live in this building, me and my wife, and we usually have homestays. And if you want, you can stay with us. My wife can teach you how to like make Korean food, and we have a
Oh,
nice
that's so
bed
nice.
and all this.
Yeah.
And just if you can like talk to my son in English, we'd be
It's
set.
like basically a language exchange homestay.
Right.
Almost, yeah.
So he called that friend of a friend, and he was like, hey, like is it okay if she stays with us? We live in the same building. I'm all good, and here's my contact information. This is the room that I'm at, all this stuff. And she was like, okay.
Yeah.
bye.
Don't care.
Literally that energy.
Jeez.
So I stayed there. It was wonderful. It was literally the best. They showed me all over the place.
Yeah.
Like to all like the major hot spots.
Yeah.
And they taught me how to cook like traditional Korean food. And yeah, I taught the son some English, and he was really cool. And it was just such a fun time. They were just like
That
my
is
little Korean
so
family.
nice.
Yeah.
What are the odds that you would meet somebody like on a random day that is like,
know.
yo, I got you?
Right?
And I'm so happy that they said the wife. 'Cause
Oh,
if you
yeah.
didn't say the wife, I would like,
Right,
no
right.
thanks. Yeah.
And I told my mom too. I was like, yeah. And he talked to my mom too, and he was
Oh
like,
my
yeah.
God. And I guess your parents were like okay with it too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. And then what made you come back to Korea?
Oh yeah. So after that, I had there was a program at my high school, not high school, college. Yeah. And they were having a teaching abroad in Korea and Japan at that time, but it was for undergrad.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was like, ooh, take a year off.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think I remember Korea. I really liked it. I've learned more of the language since then. I've made some friends. So yeah, I definitely want to go back. So I applied for the program. It's called Talk Program. It's there's another program called EPIC. Which
Oh,
is
I know Epic. I don't know Talk too well. Yeah.
it's the sister program. I think they discontinued it because
Okay.
literally like teenagers. We were teenagers.
Because
yeah.
undergrad, you're very young.
Oh yeah. We were
You're a
literally
child.
18, 19
Yeah, that's a
coming
kid.
here and like
To be a teacher. They were probably like, ooh, nah.
they just were throwing us in those rural areas. Like I was in Jeonju. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little too young.
Oh yeah. But luckily I had an education degree that I was working on. So I was like,
Oh, so it was
this
like
is
an
perfect.
internship almost. Like a quote unquote internship.
yeah.
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 Did you get credit towards your degree?
Yeah,
or- Oh,
I
okay.
did.
So it was an internship. Okay.
Because I was like 1 year is a long time to just like have no credit off. So
Right.
yeah, they did have.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense then. It makes sense why you did it then. And then, so you did the 1 year program, and then
Yeah.
you went back and graduated, and
And then I went back
or-
and graduated. Yeah.
and then you came back.
And then I came back again when I was done.
Your heart
I
was
was like,
sold on Korea.
I think so. Yeah.
You're like,
I
yeah,
really,
I'm meant to be
I
here.
really felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so you came back, and then what career path did you take when you came back?
So I went back with teaching again. And I really enjoyed that. And then I got into like more modeling things, but not for pay, of course, because my visa. So I was like, I'm fine with that, and just build up my portfolio.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been wanting to do some other things with like business. And so I'm getting more into those ventures too.
So you're trying to make a path, like a different path from teaching? Like
Yeah.
What's making you want to leave the teaching business?
Oh, the whole system, the entire system.
Oh.
Yeah, I just
The Hagwon system or the school system? Like what do
pretty
you-
much both, the education system as a whole.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been to I think every type of school. Whereas I've been international, Hagwons.
Wow, you've totally been in an
schools.
international school.
Yeah. But I just like I couldn't be a part of that anymore, I don't think. Yeah. Like
Oh.
I felt like I was really doing something with like being with the kids and like teaching them and you know, but I just felt more and more like they're not that happy and I'm becoming not that happy.
Oh, the kids are not that happy.
Yeah, because especially like, because I remember when I was a kid and I was at school and we would have, we hate school, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
right? Like, but like we would still like get our work done and then we would have like an enjoyable time afterwards.
Like
we would go
recess
out.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Recess does not
they have
exist.
break time. There is no like recess here. Like,
Yeah.
I think if I was going to be a part of a school, it would be like a trade school. But I
yeah.
haven't seen them here, so maybe I might build something up. Who knows?
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
like I know in China that they have like these trade schools for kids where they can actually hone some skills that they're interested in,
Oh,
like
okay.
sewing. And
Oh wait, they don't teach
cooking.
like cooking in Korean class?
Oh, they do. They do.
Oh,
they do
do.
have cooking classes.
Yeah.
They have like sometimes classes like separate or like entire hagwons that they would
But
go
not
to. But
mostly like in the school system.
Mostly not so much. Yeah, you have to be a specialized.
Dang, I used to
Go for
love
the-
cooking class.
Right.
Cooking class was the bomb back then. I don't know if
Yeah.
kids do it now.
For
in the
some of
States.
the Hog ones, we're not supposed to, but they're
Yeah.
out there. Like English teachers be doing the most out here that they should.
Yeah, I have a teacher friend who teaches her kids how to paint when she's not supposed to.
Oh yeah,
But she like tries to teach them because she's like, these kids are like tired.
right. They be doing geography, math, science, all the subjects. I'm
And
like,
they're just babies. And you're just like, sheesh. That has to be torture.
right.
Then they finish school and they have to go to school again.
And then it's the school
Academy.
again. Because I remember telling them how school was for me, all my kids. And they were like, no way you finish at like 4:30. What? And then what do? Do you go to another school? No.
yeah.
And we did sports. We would play with our friends.
You'd had band maybe. Or yeah.
And they're
but
like, teacher, we want to go to America.
'cause they don't have that here.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
And it's like, I didn't want to keep like influencing that, especially like for the ones that we had to stay until like 9 p.m.
Oh,
I see a lot of those
doing
jobs.
what?
Oh yeah, there's like the cramming. There's a lot.
Oh my god.
Like if you look, especially like on the job sites and stuff for teaching, like I see 2 to 9 p.m. for for kindergarten,
oh,
elementary.
they should be asleep by like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Why are they still in school at 8 or 9?
Yeah, they're like, teacher, we couldn't do our work because we were another hagwon and studying until 11. And I'm like,
That
was
that has to be like toxic for a child. I don't know.
exactly. 'Cause
And
they
it,
just,
like I think it's even worse. Correct me if I'm wrong. You
Mm.
can't tell the parents this. You can't tell them like, oh, I feel like your kid is tired.
no,
Like you're not allowed to say anything.
because they're pretty much the ones that are also like. And the thing is, I got to a point where I was actually on the side, kind of more siding with the parents, and that's when I knew like, oh no, I gotta cut this.
no.
Yeah, I was like, because they were like so hard, because I worked in like a very prestigious hagwon for a while, and they were like studying so hard, and they were wanting them to have like perfect scores, and we had to always like every week like relate to the parents about their progress. Kindergarten.
Jesus.
And I remember just like, well, not like berating them, but like being more like strict with these little babies. Like,
kindergartners.
why? Because the parents would ask like, why is their writing like this? Why are they not at this level? And I was like, and somehow I was like, why are they not at this level?
Oh
Yeah. And that's like, I would tell my mom like, these kids, and she would be like, they're kids. Remember
They're
that?
babies.
And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
like, because I was in this competition too. I was like, oh yeah, maybe they do need to be better, and
Pushed,
they
yeah.
need to get pushed more
Yeah.
and hard. And then I would come in, I would see their faces, and I would be like, this is not what I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
This is, I can't, like, I want to bring joy and happiness.
Yeah, like
and
kindergarten should be
cultural.
fun, you know, like active learning, you know, like
Right. learning should be fun,
Yeah.
especially with second languages when you're that young. It should be an all like just wonderful experience. Like, of
happiness
course,
in
yeah,
school. Like you shouldn't
Yeah.
dread going to school at a kindergarten age.
Yeah, they shouldn't know the word stress, but they did.
Yeah.
Stress the pada.
Yeah. These kids know how to say I'm stressed.
Right.
I remember I probably felt stressed when I entered college, for God's sake.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the
kindergarten
It's the same
stress?
levels. If we were to probably like hook them up to like some stress level and
they
see
actually-
the college
yeah.
students, and then it would probably be
They're,
about the
oh
same.
my God, these kids are actually stressed.
Yeah.
I remember I have a friend who has, I think her daughter right now is maybe 10 or 11. And the stuff she does, I remember looking at her book and I was like, why are you learning this at this
Exactly,
age?
right?
Like, what do you need this for? Like, this is literally high school math
Yeah.
that she knows at 10 years old. And I'm just like, I understand, you know, you want your child to be intelligent, but she looks miserable.
Right, that's
oh
the
my
thing.
God.
That's they drive them to just, well, we know what they drive them to because this is one of the countries.
It's the top country in that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad. And I can't tell her mom anything because it's none of my business.
Right, but
You know?
I can see from a young age where it starts. It starts that young.
It's so sad. Like I wish the government would do something about it, but the government feeds into it. Because they're the ones making these tests, these
Yeah.
exams. They're making it this hard for these kids.
Right.
Yeah. Like a
top
high school
schools.
exam is so hard in Korea. I
And
think
they only have that one. That one. Yeah.
you do it once, and then if you fail, next year you have to try again, and then next year you have to try again. There's no like community college. At least I don't
Right.
think there's any community colleges in Korea.
Like,
Like
I should make one.
you probably should. And this is why it's just like they're just so stressed, and
yeah.
it's so sad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's really none of my business.
Right.
Like,
but like,
because
when
I'm
you
not a
live
parent,
here,
you know.
yeah,
I live here and
you
I see, and I
definitely
do
see
have
it.
friends who have children, and I see their kids.
Right.
I'm just like, hey,
It's hard to say
child
because
is
it's just like
stressed.
you're living your life. You will see what the consequences.
Yeah,
are going to
my
be.
friend's favorite thing is to say she has to go into international school. She has to go to international school. I'm like, she's 3.
But like
She's 3.
in some part, I know exactly where the parents' minds are at because I know what it goes into. I know that they're thinking the only chance that they have to succeed here in this such a competitive society.
Korea is very
In everything from beauty, because
Oh my
Did I
god,
tell
yeah,
you
that's the thing.
when I was in America and I made my first Korean friend, when I went to her house, literally, her mom straight up was like, "Oh, well, when she turns like 16 and she, goes to high school and everything, her present is going to be plastic surgery because she's my uglier daughter."
Oh, wow.
Literally. And
She's
that's
my
when
uglier daughter.
that's when I knew, okay, Korea is not the sunshine and rainbows they be showing. They go through some stuff.
At 16.
Yeah.
That is so interesting to me. But it's like, just like you were saying, it's understandable because that is the society here.
Yeah, and it's internalized.
Yes.
With them, because she was just like, yeah, I'm really excited.
Girl, I love living in Korea.
Yeah.
But I am so happy I'm not Korean.
Yeah.
Because the things I get away with that they probably will never get away with, insane. And also the fact we can leave anytime.
Right. Our
Koreans can't
jobs
just like get up
are-
and leave.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
It's a lot.
I see why you're stressing your child out because they have to
Right.
live in this up society.
There's so much that goes into it. Like there's so many factors that are so heavy on
Yeah.
them that they have to think about, that I think there's so much stress on the beauty, stress on the intelligence, not emotional intelligence,
Literally book
but
smart.
actually,
Yeah.
I feel like at every stage in Korea that I have observed, there is something that they have to work towards to be better in. So starting from kindergarten, they have to get into a good elementary. Then from elementary, they have to get into a good middle school. Then from middle school, they have to get into the best high school, right? And then there's kind of a divide from the boys who have to go off to the military, and then the girls. And then from there, they're already thinking about, oh, we have to be like, beautiful and gorgeous to
get a
like fit the
job, yeah.
standard. And also to get the jobs, because you have to put your photo on the applications here. That is not allowed in America.
Oh, no,
we
no,
do
no.
not.
I don't even think you're
Yes.
supposed to say your race anymore.
Yeah, no. But yeah, you have to put it right on there. So like to get a better job, and the one that you actually want, you have to like look
You have to look the part.
the part.
The one that has surprised me the most, don't come after me, is how insane the application to be a stewardess in Korea is.
Yeah.
Because I've had a friend who was working towards being a stewardess, and this girl was going through it.
Oh yeah. You
Like,
can't have any blemishes. You have to go through
like
rigorous.
if you have been abroad, a Korean flight, you know how perfect they look.
Oh yeah.
Not even a strand of hair is like put out of like everything is together.
Right.
And I remember my friend telling me that the amount of like toxic work bullying she had to go through to even get there, just to be even the nails have to look a certain way. Lipstick has to be done.
Yep.
Makeup you don't have a choice with makeup here. Like not here. I mean, for stewardesses,
Right.
here. She was like, it's not a choice. If you are sick, like you can't just be like, I'm sick, I'm not going. No, you have to get permission to like get out of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I'm saying this, I'm definitely bleeping that company's name out. I am not trying to get got. I'm not getting got. They're not about to come after me.
That is like a lot of the top notch
The airlines,
yeah.
it's scary. I remember I used to be like, oh my god, I want to be a stewardess, and then I'm like, never mind.
Maybe American Airlines.
Yeah, American Airlines maybe, but
they just have a party.
they are
just
fun.
They
Yeah,
are.
well, some of them are rude too, but
Right.
they're like really fun. Which is interesting. I've never seen a Korean airline attendant be rude. Have I? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I have. Maybe it's more obvious when the Americans are being rude because I'm American.
Oh, yeah.
But on a Korean flight, I feel like they try to be as put together as possible.
Yeah.
Because their
No
higher
matter
ups
what.
are watching, and like the service is such a big part of being
yeah.
a stewardess in Korea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember my friend telling me like all the toxic work stuff that she goes through, and I'm just like, girl, I feel for you. And now she's a Pilates teacher because she's done with that stuff.
Yes,
she was
find
like,
your
I can't do
inner
it.
peace. Yes.
She's like, girl, I can't do it. And I was like, girl, it's okay. It sounds like they were trying to kill you anyway.
Right. And I feel that's another change that's happening
Yeah.
here where like I feel like now they're a little bit more like willing to not put up with it. And just like, okay, if there's consequences, there's consequences, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna find my peace.
Yeah, it's like, fire me then.
Right.
Yeah.
There's more and more of that.
Yeah. Which I think it's like, I think you definitely shouldn't be in a job that you're being bullied in as a full grown woman or man, you know? It's really sad. But yeah, I definitely think they're becoming more outspoken, especially seeing that on a Monday there's so many people outside. And I'm like, do y'all just not got jobs? Like, they're just, why y'all out
Working
here
for
at this
themselves
time?
now.
Yeah, but a lot of them are like taking care of themselves. Like self-care is becoming a lot bigger in Korea,
I love
which is
it.
great because you should find your inner peace. But again, we're saying this as foreigners. So
Right. Because
take it as you will. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what's going on through like Korean people's heads because I'm not Korean.
works.
But it's just from the outside looking in. I would say that's what I'm saying. Is there anything that you want to say that you have not said yet?
Oh yeah, I think that if you are planning on coming here, if you're already living here, you know, again, yeah, find your peace with
Inner peace, guys.
like if you are working a job out here that you're not wanting to, you're not feeling happy with it. I know it is hard to just like up and quit, but maybe like find something that's gonna make you happy, you know, whether it's gonna be like finding a group because there's so many different kinds of groups out there to like, you know, take out your stress, you know. So
Yeah.
definitely find that, you know, when you come here, and
It's
just
really
know
important.
that you're awesome, you're amazing, you're handsome, you're beautiful, you got this, and you should be proud of yourself every day, all day, and don't let anybody else tell you different.
Facts. I felt that.
That's
I really took it in actually.
That's what I'm saying.
But anyways, guys, that was today's episode with Mimi. Thank you for coming on here again. I feel like we didn't talk a lot about what you do because we did that the first time. I think we just like did a whole like just a conversation at this point. Because the first time she told me a lot more about what she does, but today was more of a conversation, which I really enjoyed. I think like it was a lot more fun.
Oh, yeah.
To just be like, you know, just talking, you know, just talking about stuff.
About what you think,
Right, just life and whatnot. But anyways, guys, that was it for today's episode. If you are a YouTube viewer, make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And also click the bell next to the subscribe button so you can get notifications for when I post. If you are a podcast listener, make sure you give us 5 stars so we can up the algorithm, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because a lot of you guys have not subscribed. But anyways, guys, that was it for today's episode, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, guys.